What's up, Nostalgia Freaks? It's Greg, and welcome back to Growing Up Movies. This is our second part of our podcast that we're doing today, and Artie's girlfriend, Buffy, came by, so we wanted to introduce her. And Artie and Buffy, I wanted to talk to you guys about, again, childhood nostalgia, pop culture nostalgia, and how the two of you, it's like an adult relationship, the two of you have actually bonded through this, and this love of the different things that we grew up with as kids, and how we connect with those elements as adults. So I know you guys are video game fans. I know you guys are movie fans.
Huge, yeah.
So if you can tell me, just tell our audience here a little bit about the background about how you guys connected and how it's actually a very healthy and nurturing way to build a relationship on.
Well, I think one of the first things that actually really connected us was our love of The Legend of Zelda.
There you go.
I think that was the first thing that so I was talking about one of the video games that was going to be released, and then he happened to show me his little Triforce
Already
tattoo
has
on
Zelda
there.
tattoos on his arm.
I have a Zelda Triforce.
So-
This is courage, power, wisdom, and that's what turned her on.
That's commitment.
Got her going.
And I happen to be a huge Legend of Zelda nerd, so I collect pretty much everything.
Piece of pizza.
From even just the old walkthrough guides to the games, even if old DS games, I don't play them, but I still like to have them. And so.
But she loves video games so much, and I mean, we've known each other before we technically met, like briefly. We knew each other here and there, but I always knew she loved video games, and I love video games. But it wasn't really the reason we got together. But when we did, I mean, we definitely share that love of video games. I mean, this might sound really nerdy, but to be honest, like even last night, we were sitting outside, we had wine, we had this video game jazz playing, she had her Switch, I had my Switch, and we're just kind of just vibing and just, she's playing her game and I'm playing my game, and we're just hanging out. And enjoying the weather. Yeah, she got these new, for the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, wireless.
Yeah, Bluetooth,
but we just
retro
vibed.
Super
I mean,
Nintendo
again, somebody
controller.
else might, have a cocktail and sit outside and just listen to whatever country or whatever music they like. But yeah, we sat outside and listened to some jazz, video game jazz. It does sound nerdy. And had this window
We're all
open.
about nerdy here.
It's actually very smooth.
So we could hear it, but we sat outside and she played her Switch, I played my Switch, and we just hung out and played games and sat next to each other and just enjoyed each other's company while we played games on our own. Because Switch, I don't know if you know, Greg, you take that whole little Switch unit out. It's handheld. You know that too?
Yeah. And
you could play your own games on there. You could also dock that thing so it goes straight to the TV. So you could take it off, play the game, dock it, go straight to the TV. It's pretty freaking amazing.
Well, what I like is with you two guys is how as adults that you've actually found this commonality. This love of the retro video games and the movies and the action figures and all these things that you connect on, and actually owning that and espousing that as opposed to being like, oh, it's we're being immature, we're being childish.
To be honest, so I've been with people that didn't appreciate this, and
right.
that thought this was childish, or thought it was immature, or thought it was a waste of money, quote unquote. But again, some people collect baseball cards. Some people don't collect anything at all. Some people collect debt, and these, to me, this is memories. This is my childhood. Like Greg says, the whole point of this podcast, it's my childhood. I don't ever regret not growing out of it. I embrace it. I'm glad I'm with somebody that embraces it with me.
It's definitely nice having someone else that has the same love of, video game paraphernalia or movie paraphernalia, all that fun stuff.
Because guaranteed, a lot of people come in this room. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. A lot of females would think this was lame, or they would get scared. She embraced it. I mean, Chucky has sat next to us for a lot of things here.
That's awesome. So moving on, actually, Laszlo brought over a couple of really special Batman things here today, and it's my first time that I've seen these. So Laszlo, why don't you talk about these? Are super limited edition.
Yeah, so these are called hot toy collectibles. High end.
Expensive.
They're sculpted by Chinese artists, and so they're very super detailed. They're I think they're a 6 scale.
They're articulated.
I think they're what is it, 100 different ways you can pose these figures.
Greg, I don't know if you've seen these, but
Um,
they're amazing.
They're one of a kind, actually. And I remember growing up getting into the Kenner figures, which were nothing but like little plastic molds that could only bend 4 ways, maybe 5.
Mm-hmm.
They're very limited. And growing up, I always wished I could get something like these figures are. Just the amount of detail in them is just phenomenal. The other thing too is, I know, Greg, you have models, and Artie, you had models
the
too.
old vinyl kits.
The vinyl kits were closest.
Horizon.
That's it.
made
Horizon.
those.
That's
The
I
Horizon
have a
vinyl
good
kits,
memory.
Yep.
And I had several of those. I know Artie started them.
I didn't paint them like you guys though.
Yeah,
guys painted them.
but you painted this guy.
I know. I
This
painted
particular
that one. I still
one
have
was
that.
painted.
Yeah, we'll get a picture of that too.
I have this guy painted too in the Horizon model,
Mm-hmm.
which I was jealous of.
But
Artie
Greg, though,
having it
I mean,
because
in
they
this
were cool.
podcast, if you could get some pictures of Greg, he painted the Predator, he painted the Terminator 2, Robert Patrick Terminator, and the
T-1000,
Arnold Schwarzenegger
And
Terminator.
Indiana Jones.
So you'll get this on the podcast with the video. I mean, Greg painted some awesome models with no prior experience.
So now with these, so like what we're talking about with these models, right? The cool thing about the models were they were detailed, but the problem with them is you couldn't pose them.
Mm.
And they came with one pose and that was it. So then now with these, they are that model that we liked, the detail and all that, the articulation and everything is the added feature, right? Now you can pose them in any kind of way you want. They have stands that you can pose them on too.
And this is the Jack Nicholson Joker from Tim Burton's
1989
1989 Batman.
classic, yeah.
Right. And a lot of them do actually now, as they're developing the brand, they have different little display sets that you can set them on.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a Joker one where there's like a scene where he's in prison and he's got a table, a chair,
Heath
and then
Ledger one.
yes, and it's all like set up as a scene.
Like a
Yeah.
diorama.
Exactly,
they're amazing.
like
I
a
mean,
diorama.
That's one thing I don't have here is any dioramas. My stuff is just a jargled mess of nostalgia. You know, it's
This room is a diorama.
Yeah.
89 Batman.
That's exactly right. That's
You
what
wanna
the
tell them
display
there's,
is about.
The comic that came out that's the...
Oh yeah, the '89 comic. Did you guys ever hear about that? I'm sure you guys that are listening.
Yeah.
The '89 comic book that is the actual sequel to the Batman and Batman Returns. It's still ongoing. It's a continuation of the 1989 and 1992 Batman movies, Tim Burton's. It's an actual comic book.
No kidding.
Like it looks like Michael Keaton. It looks like Danny DeVito. It looks
Mhm.
like Michelle Pfeiffer.
It just came out
She's collecting them
last
for me.
year.
Okay.
I think, June maybe?
They're awesome to
July?
read.
The Batman
Are they like a
89.
manga?
No, like actual.
No,
just
it's a comic.
book.
It's a
Really?
comic book,
Actual
yeah.
American comic book, so it's not
Mhm.
manga. It's more of an American style.
Mhm.
But it's an actual continuation. I mean, there's no Tim Burton involved, but Sam Hamm, or is it Haim? He's the one that screenplayed the first 2 movies, even though he got kicked off the second. But he had a lot to do with those '89 Batman movies of Burton. But he worked on this comic book, so it has a authentic feel. It's literally a sequel to the Batman
To
movies.
Batman
Well,
movies.
I'm gonna let you borrow them once I'm done with them. They're awesome, Greg.
Nice. Well, guys, thanks again for everybody for being here today. Thank you, Buffy, for joining us for this second part.
Of
Artie and
course.
Laszlo, I love you guys. And
Love you, man. It's good
again,
times.
nostalgic freaks out there, please join us at www.growingupmovies.com. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and we got a lot more pop culture nostalgia and childhood creativity to come, and that's what we're all about. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. It was
Bye, guys.
awesome. It's a fun
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.